Hello, welcome back to my channel. Don't know when this video is going to be up because I just filmed a AliExpress haul slash wish haul slash haul of things that I got, and in that I showed off the kind of skirt two-piece that I had, which is made of this sort of like stretchy kind of woven material. But I mentioned before that like I planned to edit it and make it fit me a bit better because it fits me but barely, and I feel like just by using a good chunk of material from this I'll be able to make it look a lot nicer as well, on me at least. So I would definitely say the knit is quite nice, but I would definitely say the models, like the version of it, is a lot nicer sort of deal in terms of the actual thing if you wanted to buy it. So I bought two of this set, and my plan is, this is probably the first thing I'm going to do, is I will just unpick the side seam, sew them together to make one skirt like that, and then I'll put it on and see how everything looks. I do have a skirt similar to this. It's a black and grey kind of, not checked, kind of tartany skirt, and I think this is going to be bigger than that, so hopefully it should be pretty good. Then I will probably look at how I will put the two tops together. I already mentioned a little bit about what my plan is going to be, to take off the sleeves of one, put it onto the sleeves of the other, and add more to the sides and a bit to the top, and probably from there we're going to have a wait and see as to what we could do. Now, as a part of this, see, I don't know what I want to do with these. I kind of want to add more, because I bought another pair of these and I kind of want to add a little bit more material so it comes up higher on my thigh, but I'm kind of a bit like, I don't know. So I might just fold this over and kind of sew it down so it's kind of like a little less frilly at the top, because I did take out the bit of elastic which was making it too tight to actually fit around my thigh, and it stands up pretty well on its own already, so that's that. I also showed this, which is a very, very old hat that I have. It's actually like supposed to sit like that, but I just unclipped it just to see if this pattern still went down. It's not as cream as this, it's not quite as yellowy, but I suppose I could literally just go ahead, mix up some like kind of cream dye and then kind of dye it a wee bit, and that should fix it. So obviously it has these two kind of darker, kind of a dark brown fur to a very kind of light mousy brown fur accents on it, I suppose, which I'm going to take off. I think my plan is going to be, I will just kind of have this be a kind of circle shape up here. I'm going to take the back of this, possibly even some spare material from this, and make two kind of like big ears on the side of it, and then possibly put like little cat paws or something on the bottom of it, so I could literally have like an entire set of stuff that's going to be like knitted, like an entire like head almost to toe knitted thing. I think that would look so fucking cool. Anyway, I'm also in this video going to be taking this sweater, which I also showed in the AliExpress haul, and actually hold on, it's a little bit kind of darker, but again, if I had some leftover material of this, not from the skirt but from the thing, this kind of like lined deal, I could arguably take it and then put it on the sides here, because my plan is to turn it into a kind of sweater vest is the thing, because I think the sweater vest with that skirt and possibly a like shirt underneath, I think would look so fucking cute. Kind of a bit like, recently, to date this video, Pretty Pastel Please put out a dark academia, I think it's academia haul, and I do kind of wonder if there's like a dark academia that's kind of like a light academia, almost like a pastel kind of woven knit, like the same sort of styles but in pastels sort of deal, and with cute shit. Like, that's what I'm thinking. It might look kind of good, like, but yeah, I'll probably do this along with it as well. So that's a lot for a video, but again, I think the first thing I'll do, which I think I might literally just go back and do even though I was supposed to be researching, is I'll put these together and make them into one skirt. So I have done a fair amount. I've attached both skirts together, but I'm finding I can't bend my wrist because there's pins, like dress pins in it, and they're kind of facing down, and every time I bend my wrist it's just constantly stabbing me, so that's better. Okay, so I did both of the skirts together. I've sewn them both together, and I found that like makes it a lot stretchier, and it's kind of giving a little bit more floof to it, which I don't mind. But if I wanted to get like the kind of style it's supposed to be like, I'd probably have to take a third of it away, and then it kind of is a bit more closer like it's supposed to be. But I don't know if I hate it like a little bit more flowier sort of deal. So for the top, I haven't done anything to this side, but I have added the extra bit at the top, which I need to fix because there's like these little lumps. So I just need to cut into that and sort those out. I've put on the extra side bit, if you can kind of see it there. This bit, which is definitely given it a lot more room, and it's just made it a lot nicer. It sits a little bit lower, which is nicer as well because it doesn't raise up as much, whereas on the other side it does. I'll show that in a minute. For the sleeve, this is just pinned right now, but this is both sleeves pinned together, and then I have obviously attached it to the hole for the arm, and then I have attached a bit of the bottom from the other top around the bottom of it, and I think it's like just a really nice, helps bring it in a little bit more than what it has here, where it's just like slightly less fabric around that area. But that slightly less fabric also helps to pinch it in too, so. But yeah, I think the next step is literally sewing this all on together, fixing that bit up the top. Yeah, there's also like a wee bit of thing here which is slightly annoying. I'm gonna have to see about doing something to kind of fix that. Maybe I'll just add like, I don't know, like a little bit of ribbon or something to stop that from being that. But I think it looks so much nicer. I think it looks so much nicer than this. And it looks a lot more like it was supposed to. And also, yeah, it doesn't, this rises up a lot. Whereas, you know, when there's that actual extra material, it doesn't rise up as much, which is really, really nice. So basically doing the same on the other side as well. I've already cut the pieces out, so it's literally just all I need to do is sew it all together, and then that's the top done. I'm probably then going to have a look at the skirt and see about how I want to go about doing it, because I feel like even though there's extra material, I feel like it's not particularly made it that less see-through. Like you can still see, at least in person, a little bit of like where the dark clothes that I'm wearing underneath stop. So I don't know. Part of me is like, well, I might as well just bring it in tighter, and then that kind of it doesn't necessarily sort it out, but it doesn't make much of a difference. I don't know. I also I prefer where this sits as well. Just with the extra material, it just sits by like a turtleneck, whereas this one, because it's pulling so much down, it's like opening up, which I don't really like. So yeah, I just think this is so much better. And to be fair, I'm using less material than I thought I would have to. I think I'm actually going to end up having some spare materials, at least to work with some of the other things I need to do. So I'll see you when I've basically got all of this and the other side done as well. Okay, right. Now I have to be careful with how I hold this and all that jazz. A few things I've changed. So I brought this in a bit tighter. Basically the way the skirt was built, it had 4 panels, and then there were 2 panels in each skirt. So this is 3 of the panels. They kind of go from like here to here, I think. Like here to here, like they're that big. While I did kind of like the swishiness of the skirt, like this originally is meant to be like a sort of pencil skirt type thing. I could even bring it a little bit tighter at the bottom to like give it more of that pencil skirt effect, but I don't know, I think I'm fine with like this sort of length, or this sort of width, shape, I don't know. I finished off sewing all of sleeves and stuff, so it's all attached. I did the other side as well, so it's all completely attached. I definitely would say I really like the little end bits. I really like the fact that they're there, and I've used up less of the original fabric than I thought. I still have like this front bit up to the little pleats here, and the back bit up to the pleats as well, so I still have a fair amount of fabric left, which is good. But yeah, I think also with the panel I have a bunch. The only thing about it is like, even having this extra fabric, it is still kind of see-through. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm wearing some shorts under this. I've kind of pulled up just to hide them because I couldn't be arsed putting anything else on just to try this on and show. And I can kind of see them, like, I can't really tell from like this angle is the problem. I can kind of see them, I can definitely see them through, particularly the bra. Like I can see that, where that's sitting, particularly like around this area, like I can see it. So, don't know how much you saw because the camera was loosening upwards. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it's come done. I just have it all kind of pinned at the back here for the skirt, so I think I'm probably just going to undo those and then sew those together. I have the little thigh high things on. I think my plan for these, like I did buy another pair because I was like, oh, I'm tempted to just add them up so they come up to like here and then I can just fold them down. But at the same time, I don't know if I want to do that. I'm going to leave them for now because I'm happy with them just as they are. I mean, I do need to fix the ends of them, but you know, for now. What else was I gonna say? Oh yes, I've just been using this yarn to sew because it's very similar to the size of the yarn or whatever fabric it is to actually sew this or like make this. So I thought it would be good. It has kind of left a certain amount of lumpiness, I feel like. I need to go over all though because when I was like picking the seams, like holy shit. Because they're like this type of yarn or this thick, like it's left a whole mess in my room. I'll show like a photo of it because it's so bad. I need to hoover, but I'm like, I'll wait until I finish this, then I'll just do, I think I've got some fur I need to brush out as well, so I'll probably brush that out, and then once that's done, I'll just like hoover all. Which hopefully should be later on today. But yeah, that's like the actual top complete. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. Like this is a lot more what they were showing, and even though it could have literally been the exact same thing as, you know, obviously the model was like way smaller than me, you know, this is definitely kind of like the big puffy sleeves and stuff like that they were showing. I do think it does look better with this kind of fabric at the bottom of it, particularly to match like this bit, and it just kind of makes it come all together and also gives more of that kind of like balloon sleeve, like pinched at the end sort of feel. I also like the fact it's not like super tight on the bottom, so I can thing it up, but it's probably gonna fall down like after a bit, but I could like have it up like that as well, I suppose. But yeah, like it's getting warm. It is definitely quite, for how see-through it is, it's definitely quite warm because it is. It's not exactly chilly right now. It's technically summer and we're in the middle of, I don't know, rain after a heat storm? Rain after a heat storm. Rainstorm after a heat wave. Anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I was going to say right off the top of my bat. I'm just mincing my words to fuck here. Anyway, hold on. Hold it down here and then you can see a bit more of the top. But yeah, it's kind of doing this little frilling kind of action up here around the neck. I'm kind of thinking I could arguably probably just take a pinch in and then that would sort that out, but I don't really care. Like, I think it's sitting a whole lot better than like this as it was before because it was pulling so much because the arms were so like small. But yeah, definitely trying to think if there's anything else. Also, yeah, I kind of effed up the bit of elastic in here because there's a bit of elastic running along the bottom here and I didn't really attach it the best, so it's kind of made this little wonky bit here, which, I don't know, I think I might have to pick apart the top, hopefully fix that and then come back in, because anyway. It is definitely sitting lower, is one thing I'd say. From this, it is definitely sitting a lot lower, which I don't necessarily mind, because if I raise my hands up, like, you can't see my bra, which is better, because I'm probably more likely to end up with it kind of rolled up like that, to be honest. Like, it's probably gonna roll up. So, I don't mind it necessarily, you know, because I'd rather it not really be tight around here, because I find that, like, if it's tight around here, it's kind of hard to get on. I found that with the red hoodie that I'm doing, like, it's kind of a little tight, but I can get it on. I just need to, like, pull it over, like, the widest section, and then it's fine. But, you know, it's a little tricky, just to get it past that point, where this is just easier, because it's completely elastic and stuff. Other points. Alright, so, I prefer, whenever I'm wearing a hat, I prefer having a fringe, because I have another hat, and when I had a fringe, like, it was really nice to have, like, the fringe down here. It looked a lot nicer than just like this, but anyway. So I tried on I have already a set of like foam ears because they're originally going to go in my faux fur snooty scarf, whatever the hell it's called. I know there's like another name for it, which I think is Spirit Hood, but I believe that's actually a brand. I think that's actually a brand. But anyway, so this is just a bit of paper I've put on because I was thinking like this is kind of a bit tall, I feel like, because when you add on things like the fur, and I'm probably gonna have like this sort of material as the base, which is just excess material from this, maybe even some of the skirt material to get some of this like nice chunky kind of knit pattern on it. What else was I saying? Oh yeah, that's probably going to be the back, and then on the inside my plan is to have some fur and stuff like that. But I think like the wider look looks a little bit better, to be honest. I'm thinking possibly even making it wider and like shallower. Wider and shallower, is that what we're looking for? No, more stout, more wide, that sort of thing. But yeah, like I want like bigger ears on this, I feel like. So I'm thinking maybe if I do like wider and maybe it comes out to like here and then kind of comes down like this, but it might still have to reach the height, just because my plan is, I think I'm gonna try and do, I don't have an airbrush, but I do have a toothbrush, and I know that if you have like a toothbrush, and I'll need to get some fabric medium, I think is what it's called, like, and you can like brush that on, and if my plan is to add some like pink into the middle of it or something like that to kind of make it look a little bit different and kind of match a little bit some of the other stuff in the outfit sort of deal. Other than that, yeah, I think for this one I need to go over all the seams and pick out all the bits that I've chopped off when I ripped the seams. I need to probably tidy this up a little bit better. There is a part in this which was like a hole, which I kind of like used the white yarn to kind of like seal up. Actually, I was possibly thinking as well, because I still have this kind of decal thing, this embroidered thing, I was tempted to possibly take this stars, because I have like a big one and then I have like a smaller one here, and my plan was to possibly put them like on the little bits that are with the yarn that I plugged it with. Hold on, I'll take it off and actually show it because it's a lot easier. Where is it? Over here, yes, over here. You can kind of see where I put the yarn to try and hold it together, and I have a smaller bit that's just, I think this is just a bit of the knitting that's kind of been pulled out. So my plan is to kind of possibly put stars on top of that. Maybe, we'll see. I'm not entirely sure exactly what I'm going to do for the little bits on the end, but I do want to kind of add something to them. We'll get to that, I suppose, at a later date. Wow. But yeah, I still have a fair amount of material left, to be honest. I thought I'd have less. I thought I'd have to use more, but yeah, I still have basically the full length of the back and the full front, really. So it's not too bad. I also have a fair amount of the, actually I should show rather just I still have a good few of these kind of like knitted pleats as well, so I can kind of add those in and things like that. There is definitely a difference between the color. Like this is definitely a white, and this is definitely more cream. But I think my plan is possibly to get that same like fabric medium, and then literally just kind of like maybe even make a gradient if I use this material for the back of the ears, which is probably going to be the plan, because I don't have enough from the front bit that I chopped off to actually go on the back of the ears properly. I have like probably about this much of this big thick knit. And actually, hold on. This bigger kind of knit bit here I could also use, because it's slightly bigger, but it's not as thick as this one, but there's not much I can do to get one as thick as that unless I made it myself, which I don't know how. So I think the plan is going to be, I'll pick through this, clean it up properly, and that'll be this finished off fully. Take apart this, or at least take off one of the quarter panels, sew it back up, and then with these ones, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with these. I think I'm just gonna leave them for now, and then later on down the line I might do something with them, maybe in the stockings video, because I have a bunch of stockings that I need to actually repair. Anyway, there's also another part to this video, and I will put it on now to show you. Alright, okay, so we have this which is alright. Like the main thing is the arms. Like it's just so tight around the arms. My plan is to, where's the little pastel that I brought in to actually work out what I was gonna do. Okay, my plan is to basically take it from here and kind of open up the arm, possibly try and like bring it down to like here kind of deal. Just fully open up the arm and then possibly use the sleeve and kind of like put the sleeve into here. If you see what I mean? So like put the fabric into here to kind of widen this out a lot more so it's a looser. To be honest, I don't really know if I want to, I don't know. And then I might also take this extra arm fabric and basically, again, like I did with that, put it up on top so it brings it down a bit more. But I don't really know if I want it to come down. Yeah, the only thing is like when I raise my arms and stuff like that, like a whole bunch and all that jazz. I don't know. I definitely want to turn it into like a sweater vest sort of deal. I definitely want to do that. That's not something that's like I'm not gonna do. I think the main thing is whether I add, you know, use the sleeves to come into the sides to bring this round. I will probably do the shoulder idea where I take the shoulder and put it up here to help lengthen this a bit more so it comes down a bit further. I just don't know about using the sleeve material, mainly because I feel like if I use it, it might end up where it's too baggy. Keep it straight. I desperately need like a tripod and a proper filming setup, but that's not gonna happen, at least not right now. But yeah, so I think my plan for this one right now would be to just basically chop off the sleeves and stuff, try it on again, and we'll see what we're looking like. Then possibly split open one of the sides, add on the arm, possibly add on the thingy, see how that's looking, and if we end up kind of chopping off a little bit of this, possibly just so the kind of bow on it is showing at the sides, then that would be fine. Yeah, because I think I kind of want to do all of the bits and pieces I want to do with this. Then I want to go in and kind of like paint out some of these a little bit more, like add on like a little bit more of a red for the strawberry, and just kind of like look at what else bits I can kind of like exaggerate a little bit more, because there was definitely more of a contrast between, I think, this kind of pink and this kind of pink, particularly around about here. Like it was a bit more obvious as to what it was in the actual pictures, but whatever. Oh yes, I was also thinking of adding a v-neck here so it's like, I don't know, just looks a little bit better. But again, we'll add on some of the other stuff first and we'll see how that's looking. The main problem I'm going to see with this is this kind of material here with that same kind of train track knit, if you can kind of see it there. Like, I feel like I'm definitely going to run out of that, but there is still a good chunk of this neck material, and I feel like it's just a bit longer than the sleeves, but for this little bit up here, I feel like it's maybe 2 times that? Yeah, I can maybe cut this in half and then kind of maybe dye this or something to try and get it to this kind of color, and then possibly use it either in the v-neck, possibly at the sides. I would love to use it at the sides, but like I don't know if that would be possible, so I might have to just leave those like as a clean cut. We'll have to wait and see, but I will see to doing this one possibly a little bit later on today and we can see how it's looking out, so yeah. Alright, okay, so this is kind of what I was thinking when I was like talking about kind of like a vest style. I really need to like figure out where to hold these things so you can actually fucking see. This shirt underneath doesn't even actually like close up. I need to like add an extra bit of fabric down the sides to have it like properly close up and be like actually on point. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, so basically I just went and I just chopped off the side bits. They aren't like exactly the same. It feels like this side is slightly different compared to like this side. I need to make sure that I prefer this look, to be honest. Like, I think, to be honest, the width around here is actually alright. The main problem, I think, is going to be doing the same detailing at the bottom on the sides here. I think I'm probably going to need to have it on top of it with the width it is right now. Like, I think I need to possibly either cut further down into the design, which I don't really want to do, or just have it half sitting underneath, which might work. But yeah, so this is kind of what I was thinking of when like I was thinking of making it into a vest. Like, But yeah, I think I might just, I have the bit for the collar, like I've just basically unpicked that and took it off, and I'm planning on reattaching that. I'll probably need to add a little bit onto the front for it to stretch fully around where I've cut it. The sides are going to be a different story though, I think. Like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, because this looks better than this side, but I don't know if it's necessarily cut differently. I think maybe it's just sitting not quite straight or something. I don't know. I need to figure it out. I might also need to add, like, pinch in the fabric a little bit here or something, or like pinch it in at the bottom, because I feel like it's just kind of bulging a bit as well. But I don't think I'll need to add on the sleeve bits. It would make it a bit oversized, which I wouldn't necessarily mind, but I think, to be honest, I kind of like this length for now. So I think I'm probably just going to keep it like this sort of size. And I will use the strips of this material at the bottom and add it to these ones. And hopefully it should fit around. I don't know if it's going to. I think I'm probably going to need to use the extra material from the skirt and then just dye it more of a cream colour. Hopefully match it to this, but I mean, we're going to have to wait and see about that. But yeah, so that's this. I should have just, like, filmed from here, because it just, you can see so much more. Anyway, so I pulled it down and that seems to fix that little, like, bulging thing that was happening here. So that's, it seems like it was just a case of, because it's risen up, it just kind of needs to be pulled down a wee bit. Which again, I feel like arguably if I had like a little bit more space it wouldn't pull up so much, but I don't know. I might also cut into this just a little bit more, just so when I do add, but then again, if I do add the strips on, it might not need to be cut in as much. There's a lot of different things I could do, and it's just, once I get all the stuff pinned, I'll be able to look at it. I might see, like, I think the problem is, like, if I were to add all of this fabric from the arm into here, I think that would just make it too wide, even just one. So I'd either need to chop it, but then it's the bow is the problem. Like, most of it is literally just like that. It's just the bow. So I think I'm just gonna leave it, and then when I add the things I can probably look into it. But yeah, like, we'll see with that. But anyway, right, so in other news, I have pretty much figured out, like, the ears a little bit more. Like, I had them too far back, but now they're not as bad. I think, like, I had them a bit too far back, so they were sitting kind of like that, and it wasn't looking right. But I feel like with them sitting here, they're a little bit better. To be honest, I think this is probably the size I'm gonna go, the shape and the size I'm gonna go for, which is slightly longer coming down one side, and obviously short on the top. So I'll probably just make these and then I can play about with the placement a bit more, because it's hard to do it with paper and safety pins. Like, it was a little bit easier with the foam because I could just use the dress pins, is that what they're called? Wherever they're called. I could just use those and stab it into the foam and it wouldn't make too much of a difference, but like with paper it just rips, and you also just have this needle sticking out and it's not that great. So I think I'm probably just gonna make the ears next and then kind of like figure out the placement and all that sort of jazz. So yeah, like, I think pretty much with this one, once I get all of the bottom kind of netting sort of deal onto the sides, and once I get ears done, it's then just these bits what I'm going to do for the ends, because I want to add something to the ends but I don't quite know what, and whatever else I need to do really. But yeah, I think that's the plan. Yeah. Alright. So I thought I'd film a little bit just to show like where I am and stuff, because I didn't really film any of like what I actually did. So basically I cut 2 pieces of foam and glued them, hot glued them together at an angle so they'd hopefully kind of stay at that angle to help give the ear a little bit of depth. Which seems to have worked. And what else? Oh, I painted them white because I used yellow and red. Well, yellow. I just used bits of foam that I had that actually had like enough space for me to cut out these 2 pieces, but not necessarily as a whole, just to try and use up some of the scraps, because I've got like a bag full of just scraps. So I then cut out some of the material from the leftover fabric from the top that I did earlier on this video, I still have these bits, this kind of like pleated bit, which I might add onto the back towards the end before I fully like sew this shut. But yeah, so I then sewed it to some fur that I cut as well. I also really quickly shaved it down a wee bit because I've seen this sort of style where it's like you have this longer bit here and then it's kind of shorn in the middle and then it kind of comes out to a little bit longer at the end. So I did that. It's not it is not like the best when it comes to a shave. I think this is the better one. It doesn't have as much shave, it's too close to the netting, or at least this side's quite nice, whereas like the other one's a wee bit more patchy, and I think this is the one that goes down to the... yeah, you can kind of see a bit of the netting. Yeah, you can kind of see a bit of the netting in the middle there, so where I shaved it down a little bit too much, but it gets kind of covered up. So I don't really have any airbrushing stuff yet. I do want to do more like ear sort of things, and I do want to get an airbrush for it because I've heard doing an airbrush could be like, or at least is quite useful with these. Right now I've just used pastels, which has on, I guess this one, because I didn't put the foam in the middle, it has kind of like seeped through a little bit onto the other side, but I mean I could probably just wash it and then all this would come off, but I'm not really planning on washing it anytime soon, and I can easily just like wash it, and then my plan would be to either use like, I've heard of fabric medium, which if I remember correctly is like, it thins the paint but also like it makes the paint more flexible, so you can mix it with acrylics and then it makes it more flexible so it doesn't crack, because like normal acrylics will crack or whatever. I don't know, but I use pastels anyway. I just use like a lighter kind of pink and then used a darker, more reddy pink for the middle to kind of give it a little bit more definition. I'm thinking possibly what I could do is I could end up turning the ear in a bit more to kind of make it look like that. I need to play about with it and possibly chop down some of the longer bits so they're not as long, because I feel like particularly with this ear, like if I were to fold it down I feel like almost all the pink's missing, so I'd probably have to like extend it out a little bit more. I don't know. I need to just play about with positioning and get it all sorted, and then probably the next image you'll probably see them like on the actual hat. So, and then we can talk about what we're going to do with the ends of it, because I'm still not entirely sure. So yeah, see you in a bit. Okay, fine. So we're back again. Just really quickly, I deepened the pink a lot more on this one than it is on this one. I've kind of like widened the area, and it definitely has made like an effect on like how much you can see around it. I forgot to mention, I'm thinking on possibly just putting a little bit of hairspray just on this bit here. I could show it, that'd be grand. Just on like this bit here to try and help seal in the pastels, because that's what I use for like pastel drawings and stuff like that. Like you can use fixative, but hairspray, usually like a good few layers of hairspray will do fine, and you just have to be careful not to like soak the paper or anything. Like it might take a while of like thin layers, but it does eventually just make it so that it doesn't really mix or rub when you rub it, which is really good for like layering. I also forgot to say I'm using just this really old toothbrush just to kind of like brush out the fur a little bit and also brush out the pastel a little bit more. So I think I'm just going to do the other ear, hairspray them just on these end bits, so these bits hopefully will remain a bit more fluffier and they won't get too sticky, and then I'll probably sew up the ends. I was debating on putting a wire in here on like other ears. That'll probably end up making particularly like longer ones or more ones that I want to actually be posable, because these ones are just going to sit on here and they're not really going to be posable. I don't really need them to be either because they're fairly short. Oh my god, hair gets everywhere. Yeah, be careful if you wipe your mouth while you're talking, because you're just going to get a bunch of fur in it. I think that's all gone. Whew. Anyway, what was I saying? Wait, I don't need these ones to be posable, but I was debating on putting a wire anyway, just so I could like have it bent and then keep it bent sort of deal. But I mean, as long as I make sure like I don't know why I keep doing that. As long as I make sure that the pastels on here are a little bit more solidified, I'll feel a bit better about brushing the white on top of it and then styling it and cutting it until I'm happy with it sort of deal. They're not going to look the same either, but hopefully they will look good. But I will show you once they're on, which will probably be the next one and not me forgetting to tell you about half the things I was planning on doing.